Hello, beautiful friends. A delight to be with you all today. Now, I'm going to do something that I haven't quite done before, but I'm feeling very called to do. And we're going to go into the world of tarot, not through asking questions, but through diving into the archetypes. Now, I'm going to start with my favorite tarot card because I've had a lot of contemplations lately around. Um, Strength, around beauty, around the beast, around what appears to be on the surface and what is actually happening underneath. I've been contemplating this as above, so below, as within, so without. And as I look at the eternal spectrum for the greater good of all, what I've been in inquiry of, especially around those of us who are on the union path, is that there is no actual separation. Now, there's been a lot of work of trying to hold and process the ancient wounds, perhaps the one of Lumeria, the original split. And I've spoke of this before, and I speak of it from my own experience, not from having really done a lot of research or tried to meditate deeply on it and inquiry. I live through story. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Hailey Jones, and I'm a clown buoyant. I am an intuitive storyteller and healer and comedian. Hmm. But don't force me to be funny. That happens organically. So, what I've been thinking on, and a lot was brought to me forward by my dreams that I had been sharing recently, but it's the story of Beauty and the Beast. All right. This is also the Strength card, which happens to be my favorite tarot card in the deck, maybe because my birthday is Lionsgate 8/8. Now, the beauty of this card to me is the beauty and the beast, right? We have this thing. I'm going to share some other cards. I took out all of the strength cards from the deck. This one is a representation of Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, but in their old age. This one's really beautiful. It's the healing, the strength card. And it kind of shows the fusion and the connection between all of life and, your inner self and your outer self and the processes in between. Very beautiful. This, of course, is the traditional strength card in the Rider Waite. There's contemplation, whether she's trying to open his mouth or close it. I like to think that she is embracing him as the lion tamer. She's actually not taming. She's embracing and working with co-creating. And here we have the strength card here, where the woman is the lion. So there's a lot of different portrayals of this, and each one of these cards shares a different story that could emerge that we could dive deep into the archetypes of. Now, at the core, what is strength? Strength is an ability to hold oneself in courage. It is to act from the heart. No matter how large the fear is. Strength is courage. Strength is, not just the physical will. Truth strength comes from within. It is that desire to shine forward with the radiant heart, with clear perception and love of another and of oneself. So, as I contemplate this, I really would like to begin with this idea, especially those who are on the sacred union paths, around fairy tales. Now, so often, we say we want a fairy tale love story or a fairy tale ending. It's important to specify. Um, but what we're really exploring there is the deep and incredible journey of oneself. Now, when I read a fairy tale, I don't get lost in just the happily ever after at the end of the tale. I explore the incomplete landscape of that which is being presented if you look between the lines. Now, we'll start with the Tale of Beauty and the Beast because this is the card that we're working with and I've just recently reread the full version of the fairy tale itself. Now, what I find interesting about this tale is that there is a spell in place. There's a prophecy. This enchantment can only be broken when you can truly love yourself and you can truly see another within that, and someone can truly love you. So it is this reciprocal tale of the love within and the love without. What I like about the story of Beauty and the Beast is I feel like, compared to most of the other fairy tales, you also get the masculine perspective. It's one of the more balanced tales of the story, because you see his struggle, you feel his journey. He uh, in the original tale, he didn't as much do something wrong, but in the Disney portrayals, he was unkind to somebody who needed help and assistance, because of his own vanity. And on the opposite side, you have Beauty, somebody who is kind of heart, but she's not being treated that way. Okay, so there's somebody who's being treated that way, but not embodying it. There's somebody who's embodying it, but not being treated that way. So in the Beauty and the Beast tale, it's this constant reflection. Now we can chalk that up to masculine, feminine, beauty, and beast. But what we're really doing there is we're exploring the spectrum in which our human consciousness wants us to implore, right? Now, coming into true union with oneself is actually embodying both of those qualities, from both sides. It's embracing the beast, it's embracing the beauty, it's embracing the full spectrum of anything and everything in between. Now, I'm a Heyoka, a sacred clown, and I often speak to this of being an acrobat of the light. In order to poke fun or play at something, you have to have been there or to be loving it. Now, when I was in comedy school, one of the teachers was like, I'm attacking these characters, like I'm dissecting and taking apart like these horrible humans by doing that. And so often we're making fun of archetypes instead of embodying and embracing who they are within us. Now, in this contemplation, where can you see that you have been the beast? Where do you dance with the shadow? Where have you been beauty? Where have you had the lack of boundaries that she often displays? In the original tale, there's so much. While it is within the construct of a destiny that has been laid out, there's still so much choice. You have to choose the journey. She had to say yes to go to the beast's castle. It had to be consensual. And that's a really beautiful thing, because it honors this respect of the dance, of the souls, and their choices within the journey. Nothing was ever forced, it was always coming into illumination. Now, in the tale, Beauty, she has a prophetic dream. She connects with her beloved other in the dreams, but which we know as the readers is the beast. But she does not know this. She misses the cues that say that. But what she gets from the tales is a deepening of connection, a deepening of knowing of this beloved in the dream. And the external reality isn't necessarily reflecting that. Every night the beast sees her, and instead of like engaging in real meaningful connection, he's just like, will you marry me? Because he's trying to get to the end of the tale, right? Now, I know for myself, I've definitely been that person. I want to get to the marriage part of the tale versus the ability to be with oneself and honor the process is that's unfolding. We can still honor it as inevitable, but sometimes our longing and our angst and our ego and our desire to be somewhere other than where we are pushes us beyond the threshold of actually being where we're meant to be. Now, everything in its right place, right? We're all in the journey simultaneously. And Beauty, through this process, she also, not only gets to explore her own passions by exploring these different rooms in the castle, she gets to implore in a world of her own delights and her desires. And these wishes start manifesting faster and faster for her because she is a kind person. She does mean well and is in respect. Now, at some point in the tale, she asks to go home. And in the original tale, she goes and sees her sisters, and her sisters are all in courtship processes, but all the men are attracted to Beauty and drawn to her, which makes her sisters jealous and da 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 da. And Beauty's not like honoring this attention. She's trying to divert it back, but it's still coming onto her because of her own magnetism. Now, within this process, also, we see Beauty endure boundaries. She's not understood by most of her family. She has a deep connection with her father. We don't really learn much about the mother until the second part of the tale, which gets a little skewy anyway. Like her mom's a fairy and blah, anyway. Um, but what we know about the human part of her journey is she has a close connection with her father. You know, while he kind of dabbles in and out of the world of being consumed by wealth, or, you know, like the status quo of being a rich man, he also takes in the medicine that Beauty offers and presents forward. At the start of the tale, you know, he is a merchant, or he has had all, you know, all of this wealth and has created a very fine life for himself, but then he loses all of it, and then they go into poverty. And then there's like a thought of the return of the wealth that comes forward. Now, in his journey of the masculine, it shows, like, again, you know, being caught kind of in these very mundane ways of being, but he accesses his magic here and there. He ends up at the beast castle. He is a part of the initiation of the tale through his own ego purification. And he also learns to trust the beast in this nature of like really seeing the true nature of the actions behind the words or the intensity. So often I think that, especially in our union connections, sometimes we're dancing with the gargoyles, we're dancing with the beasts, we're dancing with the things that protect the castle versus like the mask that's seen underneath, that once that mask is removed, of course. So what I really value about this tale is that in Beauty's illumination process, when she realizes she, you know, continues to have these prophetic dreams and ends up back at the castle, and the whole thing has come into being, and she realizes that the beast is the man and the man is the beast, and really also what she's acknowledged is that she doesn't belong in the mundane world. She is not one, you know, for a base way of living or superficial connection. She needs a man who is loyal to her. And that's another part of the strength card, is it's about loyalty. And to me, the strength card has always represented, and especially in these two depictions, even these three, what we're really seeing within this is true loyalty, true courage, true love, true inner union. Okay. And even as I hold these cards up together, you know, this is the reflection of the tale. This is the embodiment of the tale. And this is the, you know, the tale within. Or this is, you know, the full embodiment, this is the physical manifestation, this is the process of it. So it's quite beautiful to see this journey within in the strength realm as well. Now, within Beauty and the Beast specifically, you know, it's packed fruitful with these lessons of our fairy tale journey coming to life. But what's actually happening is the embodiment of the feminine, of being in her radiance, being in her magnetism through the exploration of her own delights, her own gifts, her own joy. And you know, she was in service to the world before. She, you know, showed up with a kind, loving heart and still was not seen. And then she was taken into an environment that cultivated her goodness. And then when she dipped back into the old environment, she knew that it was not for her. And she came back to the environment that held her. And, you know, was able to embrace, you know, whatever that means, to live a life that's more authentic to my true heart is the life, and to be loyal to her word, because that was part of her coming back too. Is like, I told the beast I'd be back and I have to go back. So, you know, I know I share in kind of a splattering way. But for me, it's like these little boxes inside of the body that need to be lit up. And each one of these like little lessons are keys that open up different centers as it relates to exploring our own consciousness, especially as it relates to these union tales. Now, what I do love about this tale, even though the beast, struggles with intensity and struggling within his own journey of being seen and loved, but really that comes to him seeing himself. I think that uh, the feminine radiates beauty, right? She, when in her true presence, is already embodied with the Sacred Heart and unconditional love, but she doesn't always unconditionally love herself. Whereas, like, the masculine isn't as much enacting of that in the world. It's often a little more of a closed, like, egoic journey of loving themselves, taking care of themselves, and taking action for themselves, but they're not really loving themselves also in that process. So, like, what has to open up between the two is this incredibly transformative field of embracing the beauty and the beast, embracing the the magnetic self, the radiant self, the one who shares the sun, while also dancing and respecting the inner world. So we're really bringing these things to light as we do this work. Now, I wanted to share the passage that's at the end of the Inner Child card book, when it comes to the Beauty and the Beast card, because it is incredibly beautiful to me. When this card appears in your reading, accept the miraculous gift of love in your life, not for what you visibly can see, but for what you feel and know as truth. True love is available to us when we open our spirits to inner guides and dreams, and we dare to follow our hearts. Love is often disguised, as is truth. Look beyond the mask, beyond the personality world, beyond the surface and stereotypes. Where there is darkness, see light. Where there is pain, send healing prayers and thoughts. Where there is disharmony, sow seeds of contentment and joy. And let your warmth and magnanimity, I'm not going to say that right, magnanimity, be expressed to loved ones, friends, the greater community, and humanity as a whole. When you look in the soul mirror, be thankful for the beautiful gift of divine life and eternal love. So what radiance that card just screams, and what beauty the tale of Beauty and the Beast shares with us in this process. Okay, I'm also going to share from this card because I think it's quite beautiful. Now, this is obviously the tale of Little Red Riding Hood and the Great Red Wolf, but this is how they've grown old. This tale is meant to warn children not to go into the woods or seek adventure or trust a wolf. Once upon a time, two mighty hearts found strength to change the story. A wolf to harm or betray a wolf refused to harm or betray the maiden, and she refused to hate or fear the wolf, nor did she tame him. She loved him for his wild self. She found a home in the forest and grew old there, and the magical wolf was always by her side. Strength is being firmly grounded in who you are, having courage for the tasks given you, and knowing the source of that courage. Rather than letting circumstances defeat you, reach within yourself and draw forth the courage to make changes, face challenges, move forward courageously. You don't do this by brute force, but through love. Strength comes through trusting your heart. So, in all of these cards, the message is truly about love. Strength is love, in my opinion. It is love in its finest. And it's stepping forward no matter how difficult or scary it is. It's trusting that deep inner knowing. It's trusting that the wild is bringing us to the tame, and the tame brings us to freeing the wild. It's um, allowing the mass while not being deceived by them, and allowing that true connection to shine through. I love this idea of not taming the wolf, right? We can't tame our inner wild selves. We can't tame the part of us that feels that deep calling, that sees in the dreams that connection is connection. I know for myself on my own journey through love, and I've had the delight of dancing with several beloveds who have taught me, not several, a couple of beloveds who've each taught me really intricate lessons, some light, some dark, and some a little bit in between. Some connections that were clearly rooted in a love that was peaceful and not necessarily easy, but it moved in a way that was less violent. And I've been in connections that have been violent and intense. And at the end of the day, you see through and can hold the other in their experience no matter what, while honoring and respecting yourself in the process. Now, love is love is love is love, right? And to be in our strength is to stand forward in our full embodied knowing that we know what is right for us, and we can honor the tale that is unfolding. So I offer this video as just a little contemplation of my own thoughts and kind of what wanted to move through me today. I hope that this was fruitful. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, share it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. And yeah, this was really nice to kind of share this contemplation with you as I've been ruminating on it for many a days. And let your fairy tale love story be the whole story, not just the happy ending. You will get there, and you will get there by reading not only between the lines, but by looking beyond the mask. Many blessings. Aho.